We know each other. He's a friend from work.
Hell yes, I get to ride the dragon.
The hell's wrong with you people?
I know Kung Fu.
Tank, you want to switch? No, I'm good. I got it.
Stay down.
I could do this all day.
If you had to transform into one mythical creature and then get married to a different mythical creature.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Maximum effort.
How about a magic trick?
HR.
Not an animal.
HR. Is it HR?
Somebody call HR down here.
That man is playing Galaga.
Welcome to the Nerds from Work, your weekly dose of geeks, nerds, news, hair, tattoos, biceps, hoodies,
Mainly biceps.
leather wrist things. I'm not gonna go any more into that. We're gonna leave that right where it is. So yeah, with me this week is not Jason because he's either at the hospital, on his way to the hospital, or arguing with his wife about she wants to go to the hospital, or pooping at the hospital. Maybe not at the hospital. It's really up in the air.
Like a bedpan poop.
You know, which I have a Game of Thrones episode about that. It was funny. But with me is Naru Abaje.
What up?
And Brandon Miller.
Hello.
So Jason is MIA, actually MIA. I actually have no idea where he is. We've tried texting him. What's up?
Like Miami.
Yeah, he's gone. He's not responding to texts or chats or anything. So, dude's ghost, that's okay. We'll run it. It's fine. I can do this. I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm a professional.
Yeah. I have faith in you, Tank.
Thank you. Yeah. So what?
Get prepared though,
I'm super prepared. I know
down. You're showing so much skin.
Right. I know exactly what the topics are. I've been reading all the articles about them. I know I'm good to go. Everything is
awesome.
Right on track. So Naru, what have you been up to this week?
I have been working, man. Like seriously, this whole week has been about trying to impress my boss and impress my company. So that's all I've been up to be honest.
A little bit of social media stuff for us.
Like typically, I do my best never to take work home.
Yeah.
Like it's like a thing. Like whatever happens, I'll finish it there. If I don't finish it there, well, screw y'all. I'll take care of it tomorrow. But this week, for some reason, I've had a lot of stuff I want to take back and just okay, fine, check this, check that, do this, do that, and it's very unlike me. I think they're impressed.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
You went and saw Godzilla, right?
That was also work, and also to impress my boss, Jason. Jason caught me out with that. He called me on Friday, like, "Hey, listen, so are you gonna see, Godzilla movie?" I'm like, and my first thought was, "Oh yeah, he wants us to prep for the show," and I said, "Yes." I had zero interest in seeing the movie, but I thought, "Yeah, okay, yeah, I will." And he goes, "Okay, great. So when you do that, could you post something on the social media channels?" I'm like, oh shit! I really got to see it before
there you go.
it comes out. But as it happened, I saw it yesterday. Eventually, so it technically doesn't really count, in the sense of last week. But
since we last recorded, so anything up until our last recording.
I said technically. Like technically, it doesn't feel like it was.
Yeah.
Technically, it's last week, but it feels like I just did it.
So if you guys want to see his thoughts, you guys can check it out on our social medias at Nerds from Work, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook's The Nerds from Work.
And
Brandon,
on the website for once.
Yeah, website, thenerdsfromwork.com. You can support us on Patreon /thenerdsfromwork. Pay us so we can keep drinking. Woo! Brandon, what have you been up to this week, man?
I don't fucking know.
Cool. So this week I've been.
I got no clue what I'm doing, dude.
You just.
Oh, I did get one of my coworkers to get back into Magic the Gathering.
Nice.
Yeah, so on Friday at 3:00, no one was in the office. And we just started playing Magic the Gathering and played until 5 and then just fucking left.
That's awesome.
In the middle of the 5th floor, too. Like a fucking big ass meeting table. We played Magic the Gathering.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
if you guys hear any funny sounds, it's kind of hot here, so I'm taking my pants off.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks for that. The podcast listeners absolutely needed to know that.
They did.
All of Naru's wiener.
Doing it pantless, baby.
Dude, it's 60 here.
Wow. Yeah, no, it was in the 80s down here today.
Hotter than the devil's dick down there.
Dude, yesterday was 90s, like mid 90s. It was stupid hot yesterday.
Oh, I've been drawing a lot too.
Really?
Yeah, I've been drawing a lot. I've been drawing a ton, actually. Saturday and Sunday, both days, I spent like 2 hours drawing in a coffee shop.
Nice.
Like I drove to a fucking coffee shop for 2 hours and come back. And I started listening to what's his name's book, Nick Eames.
Oh yeah, Kings of the Wild.
Yeah, I stole Jason's password. And I started listening to it on his Audible.
Okay.
I love the guy who reads it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The second
the guy who reads what book is it? The Lightbringer series. I like him a little more in terms of like his range.
Okay.
But yeah, this guy's good. He's not bad at all.
Yeah, he's not. He's pretty good.
I've never actually listened to like an audiobook of a novel.
Oh, you
like
should.
The thing with the range for me is like Nick Eames' book. The characters are like semi-similar characters, like between the main, like the dudes.
Yeah.
At least the first two.
Right. Clay and Gabriel.
Yeah, they're like kind of similar characters.
And even Matt.
Not super brooding, but like
yeah,
they kind of are, and they're not like very very different. So
Right.
it's like kind of difficult to know who he's talking as.
Yeah.
Until he says like Gabriel mentioned.
Right.
So, like the other guy like gave them more accents and stuff, but I could see in this scenario not giving them accents. It makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
They're all like from the same place, but.
At least 2 or 3 of them are from. I mean, 2 of them are from the same place. I forget his name. The badass warrior dude. I forget his name.
Ganlon, which
Ganlon.
Brandon probably hasn't made it to Ganlon. yet.
No, I'm on chapter 4 or 5.
Okay.
Yeah, you haven't found him yet. So
No. In fact, have you even found Matrick yet?
No, they just went to the dudes. They went to Yoko Ono's house.
yeah,
To who's
The
house?
guy's wife who
the
broke
guy
up.
who broke up the band, pretty much.
Oh,
His
Like Gabriel's
Gabriel's
wife.
wife.
yeah,
His wife. One of their
Wife
wives.
of Golden Gabe.
yeah. The freaking the guy, the Booker, their Booker's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their former booker.
Former,
But,
right,
like-
right.
The guy who made
What's
her
super
his
funny is that she's basically Yoko Ono.
Yeah. Their former booker, the guy who made her his hooker. That's
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's where I'm at. They're like at his house trying to get his sword back. So like nothing
Yeah,
cool
sounds
has
pretty
happened yet.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
it's like it's good how it's written. So.
Yeah, you'll like when they get to Moog. He's probably my favorite character.
yeah. His sounds different. Ganelon sounds different, but those Gabe and those first two those sound a little similar.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
no,
I'm sure it gets way better because as the story builds too. So.
right.
It does.
No, that's dope. I actually,
your favorite character, really?
yeah, I think so. I'm rereading it. So I'm a terrible friend to Nick Eames, and I bought Bloody Rose. I just never got around to reading it.
Really?
I'm a person. Once I start reading something, everything else in my life stops until I finish that book. I can't put books down.
Okay.
And so I did that for Kings of the Wild, and then I was like, okay, I gotta back off. I need a break. And so I've been trying to find where I can okay, if I stop doing everything, I'm not gonna get fired from my job and like those kinds of things. So.
Interesting.
I'm rereading Kings of the Wild, which the second time through I don't like get quite so engulfed because I know what's happening, so it doesn't like.
Wait, you're reading Kings of the Wild for the second time and you haven't finished Bloody Rose yet?
Well, so that's the thing. I'm reading Kings of the Wild again so that I can read Bloody Rose. I wanted a good. I'm gonna go right into Bloody Rose.
Right.
I wanted a good, fresh memory of.
That is intense. Okay.
I really enjoyed Kings of the Wild, and I'm enjoying going back through it. So
I'm just saying the whole, gotta finish one, go back. That's like saying that's like the guys who go back and watch the whole MCU just so they can watch Endgame. Like,
King did that.
I did that. So there you go.
I'm the person who I read like the last couple chapters.
Yeah,
I'll read like the last like 2 or 3 chapters, like the big battle or something, and then I'll go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
I'll skip.
I also caught up on Black Clover.
Really? See, I'm not caught up. I'm not caught
like
up at all.
into the second season, and then I was like,
What's Black
fuck.
Clover?
Anime.
It's anime.
Oh, right.
So
That's a good one.
I was like, I don't want to get all the way caught up, because then I'll be pissed off. So I just stopped in the second season. I watched like 2 episodes or something, and then just stopped abruptly. And then I was like, "What am I gonna watch?" So I started that, or I watched the first episode of Goblin Slayer.
Dude.
It's pretty fucking raw.
Is gnarly, isn't it?
Yeah, but I like read some stuff about it, about how like they weren't sure about the character progression and stuff because he just stays on goblins. So I don't know if I'm super into it.
So keep this in mind. At least so far, it's only like 12 episodes.
Okay.
So it's not
much to go anyways.
right. It's not this big like this character starts here and 700 episodes later he's over here. No,
Yeah.
it's like a 12 episode. Like here's the story. Here's the character how he is. You find out why he is the way he is, and there's
Yeah.
a shit ton of blood and gore, and it's pretty awesome. And I really enjoyed the like D&D, like they have like the dwarf mage and this like
They
dragonborn.
literally called them that. Like, you're the healer.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a healer. I got 3 spell slots left.
Right. Yeah, that's like I found that really really interesting. It was a very cool way to do that. Especially last week's. You know what? And I should have brought that up because we were talking about last week about how with Game of Thrones being done, there's the potential for a true D&D TV show now.
Critical Role.
Like Critical Role's animated show that they're doing, or even a live action.
Yeah.
And now that Goblin Slayer really took that by, like you said, they literally say the words, "I have 2 spell slots left."
Yeah.
Which most like adaptations they don't say it that way. You know, they try and frame it.
Oh, I feel weak.
Right. But yeah, so I've been reading Kings of the Wild. Me and the wife went and saw Aladdin last night.
Good.
Which I freaking loved it, man. I thought they did an excellent job.
I've actually, a lot of people that I know that like hate on movies a lot liked Aladdin.
It was really good. The writing was excellent. Like they stayed to the original story, and then just like they did with Beauty and the Beast, they kind of filled in some plot holes. Right?
Yeah.
We find out why Jasmine never leaves the palace. They didn't like the Sultan's not this bumbling idiot like they made him in the animated movie. Like there's a lot more
Personality.
those little holes they kind of plugged kept as much of the original story as made sense. The old songs sounded great. There's a couple new songs. The girl who played Jasmine, the Pink Ranger, can sing.
Yeah,
Like,
she can.
She sang her ass off, and I really enjoyed her songs.
And also, the thing I liked about the movie that I never really thought about before, and I guess this is one of the things about when they talk about representation and also giving people agency, I never really thought about the fact that Jasmine was just a pawn in everybody else's scheme in the cartoon. Like, basically, everything that happened was done by other people. She never had any agency in her own life. Even at the end, with the resolution at the end in the cartoon,
He's the one who changes the law in the cartoon.
yeah, her dad changes the laws. Hey, fine, but in this, now they change it, and she's the one that makes the decision to change that. And I thought that was pretty cool.
I agree.
Also, she had a lot more influence on the rebellion against Jafar, which I thought was that makes sense.
He actually had we actually knew why he wanted to be Sultan, and kind of gave us backstory to Jafar, which we didn't have in the animated.
Yeah. Oh man, Jafar's backstory was pretty cool for me. I
was.
thought the fact that he I mean, spoiler alert in case you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But the fact that Jafar could out thief
Aladdin, that was.
Aladdin was like, oh shit. Do that skills.
And I have to say, Will Smith stepped up. That was, of course, that was the big question mark, right? Can Will Smith be the genie after Robin Williams? And they did a perfect job of paying homage to Robin Williams and giving Will Smith his own genie.
Yeah, this was definitely a Will Smith Fresh Prince of Bel-Air genie. Beyond the shadow of a doubt. Every time I saw Will Smith online, he kept saying, this is about, they all know, that it's been done. There's just no way you can redo it. So he figured out that the end to the genie was the persona you came with. And Robin Williams came with his stand-up persona, which, to be fair, that's true, because the genie was written for his stand-up routine.
Yeah.
And he just shows up with his Fresh Prince, charming, help you out, but also, yo, take it easy, man.
Yeah.
Persona. And it worked.
It worked. I thought it worked very well.
The test was, let's be honest, I had to separate myself from the movie I'd seen before and watch it with my kids. My kids saw it, loved it.
Yeah.
They loved it. I saw it and I forgot about the other movie. Like, forget the other movie. Imagine you've never seen any Aladdin. How is this movie? And there's some areas I thought they were like, okay, they probably could have done a little bit better with Jafar.
Yeah, that was my wife's biggest complaint. Was
The
Jafar.
megalomania was a little much at some point, like, but I saw how they set it up. This dude is obsessed with more.
Right.
Like, when you're obsessed with power, after a while, it's like, you know what? I want more power.
Oh, you're gonna drink from that cup.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But
I mean,
my one little complaint, which is like a very small complaint, is once they get into the story, that first 5 minutes is kind of reliant on you having seen the other movie. Him getting that very first time you see the Cave of Wonders and all, like, that whole little scene, getting up to when you see Aladdin. Why we have no idea if you know nothing about Aladdin, the story of Aladdin.
Yeah.
You have no idea who any of the characters are. You don't know why you're at this weird tiger mouth cave thing. It just seemed.
Yeah, but that happens in many movies. Many movies set up with a scene that you don't understand, and then they give it context later.
And they kind of did. But like I said, it just, for me, it felt like they were
context though. I agree with you that there was no context
right.
later.
And so to me, I guess because there's an animated movie, this is kind of remade. It felt like they were relying on that so that you just kind of knew, so that they could just get into the story.
I would have liked it if they actually told us what the damn cave was. Like, why was the cave? Like, later on, revealed, somebody says, look, this cave has been in existence. This is what happened, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So we know why it exists.
Sure.
Because stuff, why can't you touch the gold? Why can't you touch the jewels? Why is it the damn lamp you can take? And then after you take the lamp, why can't you go back and take more? Like, there's a lot that they could have done to fill that out, but I'll give them a pass.
That was very small. But yeah, so that I've also
been.
Think
of the resolution, though? The genie's resolution, like, they resolve with the genie. Unless I'm wrong, it ends with him not having any powers at the end. Instead, he has a life,
which so by itself is cool. I mean, I like this very different take.
Yeah.
But the sequel to the animated movie is The Return of Jafar.
Exactly.
And they kind of
yeah.
You can't do that without having a genie to help. Like, I haven't seen Return of Jafar probably since I was like 10.
Unless he still has powers, he's just living as a regular guy.
I mean, but they kind of they really made you think that he wasn't. So.
Well, let's be fair. I mean, he had powers and looked human anyway, so he could still.
He could. So we'll see.
Well, part of the original movie was like Aladdin setting him free so he could live his own life.
Yeah,
right.
But the difference is this time the life he gets is he gets the life, the wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, he gets the life.
and they well, you don't care if I spoil it. It's they basically make him human at the end. He's no longer a genie. Like, so
he chooses to live with this girl that he's
the handmaid. That was funny too.
The handmaid was funny, and I love the way they tied it to the beginning. Because at the beginning you see him, and you're like, okay, what's going on here? And then at the end, like, oh, right. That's up. So it was actually a good, well plotted story for me.
It was. All in all,
almost everybody else I know who's into comics, movies, nerd stuff, cartoons, they hated it.
Really?
I know a lot of guys online. They hated it. I'm like, guys.
Yeah, there's just people that fucking hate stuff just to hate stuff.
Yeah.
I know. So I was pleasantly surprised that, hey, thanks. You're a real one.
Because for my bar with these movies so far is the Beauty and the Beast remake, right? Because we've got the Jungle Book and you've got Cinderella.
Okay.
And those two, and like Beauty and the Beast before Aladdin I was like, that is the best one they have. I liked Aladdin a little better than Beauty and the Beast.
I like Beauty and the Beast.
Right, and so did I. Now, to be fair, I like the animated Aladdin better than Beauty and the Beast, but even just aside from that, I think this new Aladdin is better than the new Beauty and the Beast. So.
Oh, that's okay. That's big.
But yeah, so I mean that, and then
what's up next though? Lion King.
Yeah, which is going to be huge. I'm excited to go see Lion King.
I'm super.
That's the one I'm really scared for.
Dude, and Jon Favreau, I trust, right? So
I trust Jon Favreau.
I trust Disney.
And again, every now and then I think Cowboys and aliens.
So okay, everybody has their skeletons. No one's perfect.
Last Airbender.
Oh God. Dude, I hope this Netflix live-action remake just erases all memory of M. Night Shyamalan's rendition, because that was... You can't change the way the main character's name is pronounced. That's all there is. That's all there is to it. You can't change the main character's... What the fuck? No one...
Oh, double O in why?
In 3 seasons plus the Korra seasons, because they refer to him a few times in the Korra too, it's Aang. It's always been Aang. Why the fuck did you change? Nah, anyways, all right. I will spend the next 45 minutes going off on that.
I'm tempted to let you do it. Like,
Oh Jesus, dude, that. Oh.
Because they ruined one of the best cartoons ever.
I mean, well, now again, I love the fact that the writers from the animated show are doing the live action as well.
Yeah.
And they've
Did
come out.
I tell you about the panel I watched from the
Uh-uh.
animated show? When I went to MomoCon in one of its early years of existence in Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
I was in undergrad, so it was very little still. Small, I guess, very small still.
Because it was just the other weekend.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
It's pretty big now though.
Yeah.
Like, cause I still get the emails from it and stuff. So we had a table at MomoCon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, me and my friend Jeff did, selling T-shirts. But we went to a panel on the people who they choreographed the fighting
That's
of
awesome.
each of the styles.
Yeah.
And they actually went and got people who trained in these different martial arts to base the style off of it, to say, oh, if this person was doing this, what movements would you try to do XYZ, and we'll make that into earthbending. Firebending was Northern Shaolin, and also it's based on actual martial arts.
Dude,
it was actually super fucking rad to hear them talk through it.
That makes me love the show.
The guy who was there, or the 2 guys that were there, one of them was the guy who did the firebending stuff, so he talked mostly about the Northern Shaolin, and then the other one was the earthbender guy, and I can't remember what it was based on, because he was a quieter guy, so he didn't talk as much.
Yeah.
that stuff's so cool to me. The thought process that goes into the.
So that's why I'm stoked that they're working on this show, because it's gonna be real shit. It's not gonna be it's not gonna be they took the real stuff and flavored it up some.
Sure.
For that, obviously.
Yeah.
And they took martial arts that were very flashy anyways to do it.
Right.
Northern Shaolin is basically performing arts.
Right.
But it's real. They were doing real movements and real sequences and stuff to do these different powerful moves.
Right.
And I'm excited to see them put that much passion into a live action one, where there was clearly no passion put into in the movie.
In the movie, no.
So the shows, all the shows, even Legend of Korra, you can tell how much passion was put into learning these things and building these worlds out, and the people and the side characters, full backstories that they had and shit.
Right.
And it was just glossed over in the movie. So
yeah, the Legend of Avatar is probably one of my favorite cartoons ever made. It's just it's up there with Sword Art Online and Naruto, Dragon Ball Z. It's in that same realm.
You watch Samurai Champloo, dude.
I need to for sure.
That's one of the only animes I've rewatched. It's one season.
How do they come up with these names? Seriously, Samurai Shampoo? Seriously.
Shampoo.
Oh, okay.
Japanese.
That kind of makes it better. Because I'm what the hell did he just say?
It's completely different. It's just how.
Yo, that doesn't change the fact that there's some really crazy names.
Yeah, they're definitely.
For sure.
That alone is a big barrier to me. I'm what you call? I can't be caught dead watching a show called that. That's just some of the stuff that happens with my thought process.
I gave up on those kinds of thoughts a long time ago.
Yeah.
So.
Fuck it. Goblin Slayer, here I come.
Dude, that show's fucking. That's a
leave
dope.
your shame at the door while you're coming to watch this.
That should be.
That's literally everything, dude.
No. I say I don't have guilty pleasures. I love the Pitch Perfect movies. I don't care. I love watching those movies. So
Fucking
Pitch Perfect?
Yeah.
Man. Something called Spider-Man. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. If we want to be real about it,
Up yours,
Batman, bats are fucking disgusting. They just shit all over the place.
Especially because Spider-Man is a 16-year-old boy.
Yeah, all nerd culture is just dumb as shit.
16 years old is technically a man in many parts.
Superman. Like, be fucking creative.
Superman, the Ubermensch.
He's not even the Ubermensch, dude. That's what's sad.
Oh god.
Like, the philosophy of the Ubermensch is so much fucking cooler than Superman.
True.
Like the Ubermensch.
But this was inspired by it. So we'll take what we get, right? I mean,
Nah, dude, give me the Ubermensch. What is that, Moon Knight?
I started reading a Moon Knight.
Deadpool.
I read one of those trade paperbacks of Moon Knight the other day. I'm like, why the hell does Jason love this guy? This dude is weird as hell. Like, I thought Batman had issues. This guy is nuts.
Moon Knight's weird.
Oh my god, he is nuts. Ridiculous nuts.
Speaking of Netflix shows, though, what about that Magic the Gathering show?
Yo, so that's it was what, a week ago, Naru? Not even a week ago. It was
Monday.
3 days ago.
It was announced that the Russo brothers, having finished up their incredible run with Marvel, their next passion project is making a Magic the Gathering anime, which it sucks that Jason's not here because Jason and Brandon are our resident Magic the Gathering experts.
I also like anime. So.
Yeah, and then Brandon, right? And Jason's watched like 3 anime his entire life. So
I had to read Wikipedia about that just before I jumped on here. So
About what Magic the Gathering is?
yeah,
Oh, dude, 38 million players.
I know.
Jesus. I didn't realize it was that big.
In a world of 6 billion people, I mean, yeah,
That's crazy.
it kind of flew under the radar. Is what I'm trying to say.
I knew that there was this huge lore behind the game. So Brandon, I'm excited to see.
My real
what they
surprise
do
is
with
how
it.
recently it started. I thought it was something that's been around since forever. Apparently, just since 1993.
Yeah, it's like 26 years ago.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
impressive. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow.
So actually, a guy I work with, one of the lead designers for running, he went to high school with a dude who's a pro Magic the Gathering player.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, and my friend Bart, the guy I told you about that I played with on Friday, he has a deck that the other guy's friend made in like late 90s, early 2000s, I think.
Wow.
Bart like went online and bought his deck. Like bought the deck this guy built.
What is what?
Yeah.
Enunciate properly, just so.
I enunciate perfectly well. I'm not the one in this group with an accent. And so he bought it, and then Chase was like, when Chase found out that we were gonna play Magic, he was like, "Oh, my good friend like plays Magic the Gathering." He was like, "This is his name, Mike LaPlume." And then he was like, "Dude, no fucking way, dude. This deck right here is his. I got this because he won like this year with this one, and I bought it." And it was a weird turn. So
The red
the
string,
premise
man.
I guess I'll give like a short rundown of Magic the Gathering. Is the creator of Magic the Gathering this is nowhere near the beginning of a short rundown story.
I call them short story novels.
Yeah, novella.
Yeah.
The creator was like a grad student, like a art math graduate student, and he loved games and trying to figure out like how many ways a game could be won, like tic-tac-toe and stuff like that. Like he studied like theoretical probabilities of game endings, basically. So he was like playing these different card games, and he was like, "Yeah, I loved trying to figure out new ways to win card games." So then he started introducing different things into random card games, like Rummy and stuff like that. And then he was like hiking one day and just saw a fucking waterfall and was like, not everybody has to have the same cards. Like every card game up until then was based on everybody having the same cards.
Yeah.
Like you have the 52 card deck, and then it's just based on what you get. And he's like, what if you could just make your own deck and play against someone else who made their own deck? And then he was like in this crazy hike, and he was like, yeah, and you could like, the land was magical, and that's where you get this magic from. And then he just started fucking building the actual game Magic off of that, because he had built other games based off of like land magic and stuff like that when he was a kid. But everybody had the same cards.
Right.
So this was the first game where it was like you didn't need the same cards. It was kind of the birth of like trading card games.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so he made it. He got the other graduate students to like do play tests with him because he was like, "Yeah, I think this will be fun." And then they were like, "This is fucking addictive. Like we need more cards." So then he would make booster packs for them to test, and would give everybody a different booster pack and see what they did with it.
Yeah.
And he would like study them and be like, "Oh, what are they doing with it? Oh, they're trading now. This has become a currency based on how good the cards are."
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And then that's like kind of how it started. So the lore behind it, which is more of what the show's about, is there these characters called planeswalkers, and they're basically really powerful, like sorcerers or wizards or whatever, and they can use the power of the lands. So they're from different planes or different Earths or different worlds or however you want to think of it. And like Marvel, it's not like a new concept. They're able to call upon the powers of like their lands to do these crazy feats of magic, and they can either summon monsters or cast spells to like trap monsters or steal monsters or empower monsters, and that's kind of how it builds out. And there are a couple main characters. There've always been like a couple of main characters in Magic. You weren't always able to play as planeswalkers though until like 2007, 8, something like that. That's whenever they brought the planeswalkers in of being like the more powerful cards. But before that, like the player was a planeswalker.
Right.
Like when you're playing, you're a planeswalker and you're using the mana from the land to summon monsters and stuff like that. So like you are the planeswalker.
Yeah.
And you're battling someone from a different plane for power, basically. So it'll be really cool with each expansion, kind of like World of Warcraft. With each expansion, they actually release a teaser. They release like an animated short to show like the history behind what this expansion is based on.
Okay.
And they're actually like really good animations. The most recent one was freaking dope. But yeah, so it'll be like the planeswalkers fighting each other. The most recent one is like the Elder Dragon Boris. Like he comes to power. He actually fucking kills all the other Elder Dragons to show that he's the best, and he's like on this power trip. And the other planeswalkers are like trying to stop him and stuff like that. There's like a story behind each release, and then they're themed. So like sometimes they'll be like, oh, this guy's on a power trip and he just opened a portal to this plane, so now there's fucking dinosaurs. So it'll be stuff like that, and it kind of like shows the story of how it happened and who's feuding with who, and like it'll introduce the new planeswalkers of the series of the set and stuff. So there are like little mini snippets already of Magic the Gathering that are really, really good, but they're obviously not playing cards, like because the lore of it is just them. They're casting the spells and doing stuff like that. They're just powerful sorcerers. So it's already got like a really cool feel to it. So to see what they do, it's going to be completely different from those because it's going to be like anime style. Like
It looks pretty epic.
Huh?
I'm looking at it now. It's one of those. It looks
Yeah, it's fucking amazing, right? It's like really good quality.
pretty epic.
Yeah, so
That's
it's really cool, and it sets up, like, it builds hype for the...
It's like an animated Lord of the Rings or something.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's based on, like, Dungeons & Dragons, basically. Like, it's based on tabletop, like, lore. Like, so the different people, the different planeswalkers have different strengths and weaknesses. Like, one's a necromancer, one's a powerful, like, spellcaster and doesn't really rely on creatures as much. One, all he does is, like give life, and he's like a healer. It's just like you regain life through the whole game. So there's actually a whole story behind Magic the Gathering. It wasn't necessarily built that way, but once Wizards realized like we got something, like Magic the Gathering was huge, and then it was Wizards of the Coast like took it over. They really started to like capitalize on this kind of stuff, and I feel like this is going to be a sick like segue. I don't know necessarily if it's going to be to use like the current planeswalkers, or if it's going to be like a prequel or I don't know. Like I could definitely see it being a prequel to everything that is in like
The card game.
current Magic the Gathering, and that way they can make their own characters, because there's something like 70 or 80 planeswalkers.
Damn.
And like, there's no way they're making a show on that. They can make it on the like main 5. So there's like 5 different colors in like Magic. So there's red, blue, green, white, and black. Those are like the main colors. So like each of those has their strengths, and planeswalkers can be like a red planeswalker, which is like very fiery and they draw on mountains, and like the white planeswalker is based on the plains, so it's, you know, life and love and stuff like that. Whereas like the black is based on the swamp, so it's like more like, you know, alligators or demons or stuff like that. So it's really interesting. The whole lore of it's actually super interesting, kind of like Lord of the Rings, where it's a super deep lore that's not necessarily explained ever. But like, it's out there. They have a ton of books. They actually do have like a ton of books that's made, some graphic novels and stuff based on Magic the Gathering. And there's a full Dungeons and Dragons like story like campaign based on Magic the Gathering.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have one based on Magic.
Comment on the trailer. I don't even play Magic, but damn, this trailer was awesome.
Yeah.
It tells you right there. It has potential for this to spread and create a whole new pop culture phenomenon.
Right. I feel like the show, I don't think you would need to play Magic the Gathering at all to like the show.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
The show, like the lore and everything, since it has nothing to do with playing cards, no one's gonna think it has anything to do with the card game.
Right.
Where it's like Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff, like it was based on a fucking card game.
Right.
It's like in the show they're playing cards. It's lame. This won't have, like, they might have like a hint to it in the background of someone playing cards, but like it's gonna be a totally different thing of like, it's just a real story and the card game is based on it.
I will say this much though, like when the news first broke, I thought, oh, awesome, these guys are gonna do something totally different. And I read a little bit more and realized I was a little let down by 2 things, but they're very just mundane. First of all, I had the impression, I thought they were gonna be the guys behind and producing and actually directing, and I realized, oh no, they're not. Then I realized, oh, it's an animated thing. Huh, okay. So that kind of let me down a little bit, because I had nothing.
Are they just producing it?
Yeah, they're executive producing it.
Executive producing. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, you guys are lending your clout to this. Awesome. Nice. But if nothing else, it was the perfect time to announce it, because it just jumps off the whole end game popularity.
Oh, for sure.
Of Brothers' name.
I think the main reason they wanted to lend their clout to is because they actually play Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
No, they do. No. Like, again, the more I read, I realized that they're actually invested in it. It's not just a business thing for them. They're actually invested in this product and this story, this world. So I'm expecting to see good things, because at this point, I have nothing but faith in the Russo brothers.
Right.
I also believe that they know how to craft a compelling enough story out of anything. So I'm looking forward to see how well they do the same, because what they did with things like, pretty much what they did with everything Captain America before they went into the Avengers, for me was like, wow, okay, these guys can make me look at this from a whole new perspective.
Right, they can take an existing world, characters and stories, and make their own take on it and make you believe that it is.
They pull you in.
Yeah.
They pull you in, and that for me works. So I'm like, great, I'm looking forward to this in a way I typically would probably never have looked forward to it if I didn't hear the Russo brothers are involved, which is only a good thing for Netflix, because then it increases my chances of continuing to subscribe after Disney Plus comes out.
Did you see the other people who are involved?
After they said Russo brothers, they kind of had me, so no.
The animators from Rick and Morty, from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
It's like it's a fucking star-studded cast.
Yeah.
Like, and crew apparently. Cool. Okay.
Yeah. I mean the production crew. They don't have like voice actors and stuff.
Okay.
But like the people behind it and making it are like the writers from Justice League.
Yeah.
Like animated series are in it. Like,
all right, back up. Writers from what Justice League? Just so we're clear.
The animated series.
Okay.
That's what I said. The animated, like the good stories.
Right. The good version of Justice League.
Yeah. So it's got like, the people involved are really like, They got they pulled out all the stops for this.
Dude, if you can tell anybody you worked on Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse right now,
Shit.
it doesn't matter what you want to do. Like, I want to, I want to see it. Yeah.
Because I'm not a big Magic the Gathering. I played Yu-Gi-Oh. I played Pokemon trading cards growing up, which is kind of like Magic Light. But I just never got into Magic. It's kind of what you said earlier, right? The reason I don't own a single of the pop figures is because once you buy one, all of a sudden you have a room full of them, and them shits are expensive. Same thing with Magic. Yeah, I hear you and Jason talk about it all the time. Now you guys kind of do it smart. You have $30 to build a deck. Go figure it out. But it's very easy to be just to end up with all this just shit ton of cards and collectibles, whatever. So,
which I will say, I took my $15 deck to work and played against the world champion deck, and I beat it 3 times.
Hey,
best out of 3, I won 3-0.
That's funny. So yeah, I'm excited for the show. I'm excited to see what it's about. I'm anything that's like D&D adjacent. I'm 100% for right now. So I'm excited to see what they do with it.
I kind of hope it brings, kind of sheds a new light on Magic. Like your reason I'm not playing is just because it's an expensive hobby, which makes sense. Like, there's ways to play that's not super expensive, but in general, it's more money to invest in anything than not invest in anything. But I kind of hope it gets rid of the stigma of how nerdy it is. I don't know. It's still looked at as such a even when we were playing at work. I work at a place that everybody's a fucking nerd. If you're an artist, you're a fucking nerd. If you do 3D modeling and IT, you're a fucking nerd. And people make fun of me for playing D&D. And and I'm like, you went to 6 years of college to learn how to make a 3D model on a fucking computer. Shut the hell up. You got no
Yeah, but they get paid for it.
Shit, I get paid to just talk to people. I get paid more than the fucking 3D modelers.
Who pays you to play Magic the Gathering? Come on.
Yeah, I played Magic the Gathering for 2 hours the other day, and my paycheck is more than that. I don't know who's the smarter one. But yeah, I especially with Game of Thrones, right? That reached out to so many people outside of the nerd culture.
Right.
Yeah.
Of they were oh, I didn't think that's so they wouldn't. A lot of the people who watch Game of Thrones would never watch Lord of the Rings
or read the book.
Yeah. They would never read the book. They would never watch. But now they're I might go read the books now because the show's over.
Right.
So I might start reading the books now. It's kind of opens this door of people to be oh, I didn't know it was actually this, because I was so close-minded to understanding what it is and how fun it might be, just because there's a stigma around how people who do this are.
And that's something I really hate, because there's stuff I don't like personally, but I'm never gonna knock you for liking it. I'm never gonna knock you for having your own culture, your own nerd culture, so to speak, the thing you like, the thing you love. There was a guy in one of the groups I was in, there was this guy who was just coming down hard and bullying because somebody was kind of making fun of, they were cracking jokes about superheroes, and you know how it is, they started making fun of Batman. And this dude is so super into Batman, he starts coming hard on this other kid. And the admins and myself, some other guys talking, and eventually they banned him from the group, because listen, we face enough for the stuff we like. You face enough pressure from the world. You're not going to come in here and start being, that way to somebody else.
Right.
And he's a repeat offender. You make fun of the stuff he likes, he tries to hurt everybody else. And it's listen, you're toxic. Out.
Yep.
Yeah. I think a huge thing too, for me at least, and there's probably why I'm one of those people who's a jack of all trades and master of none, is I don't really knock stuff at all. I'll just be oh, I'll go try it. If I try it and I don't like it, then hell yeah, I'm gonna knock it and be ready for it. I don't care. That's my opinion, and I'm allowed to have an opinion.
Right.
But I'm not gonna say you shouldn't like that. I'm just gonna say, yeah, I thought it was ass. It was the most boring thing I ever did. you can enjoy it. I really don't care.
Yeah.
But I also will try everything. There's not a thing that I'm too cool to try that. That's why I played every sport. Play Magic the Gathering at the same time. and skateboard at the same time. I'm part of almost every single subculture, not because I think it's like the cool thing to do, but it's because like I tried a portion of it and I liked it. There's other stuff in that culture that I hate, so I don't do that. Like skateboarding, for instance, I'm not gonna like break into places to go skateboarding. That's fucking stupid. I'm not gonna like purposefully, mess up someone else's property that they clearly care a lot about and paid a lot of money to make. Right. But like, if it's a fucking park bench that's a piece of shit, I'm gonna skate the piece of shit park bench. Like, it's not hurting anybody. I don't care.
Right.
So yeah, so it's like, I've tried a ton of stuff. Like, if you're not willing to try it, I feel like you're not allowed to talk shit about it.
I agree.
So hopefully this will bring more people into being like, oh, what is this card game? This show is really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Maybe. And like I said, there is like a huge following already to it.
It's definitely made me curious about it personally.
Yeah, like it's making people curious. And then hopefully the show is cool enough. Because like technically, if it's based on current characters, you could be like, I love this character. I'm going to make a deck based on that character.
Yeah.
Like that's 100% possible in this game. Because like I'm making a deck based on a Planeswalker. The one that's in the little short that Naru just watched.
Oh.
The Liliana. I want to make a Liliana deck. But
that's dope.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool, especially with how many resources they're dumping into it. I think it'll actually be really good for like the game and like kind of the culture of the game. Because like the culture of the game is completely different in California too. Like everybody on the military base played Magic the Gathering. So like that game store was all just jacked Marines drinking fucking Monster.
That's awesome.
Smell like shit coming, like wearing fucking boots and shit. It was like completely different as like the game stores here. Like 100% different crowd.
And that's why like in we talked about it last week a little bit, the stigma of being a nerd isn't such a big deal anymore. Like, yeah, you still have assholes, but there's also assholes that are nerds, so like that's not really a thing. But you've got people like Travis Willingham and who's the other Jox Machina?
I don't remember.
Shit, I'll think of his name in a second. Deathstroke and Joe Manganiello. There it is. I told you I'd get to it. Those guys are like huge CrossFit like football guys. Like I know Travis Willingham's like a Cowboys fan who's like he watches every game ever, whatever. But he also
plays college football, I think.
Right, but he's also a professional Dungeons and Dragons player. So like some of that is starting to shift, and I think things like Game of Thrones, things like the Lord of the Rings movies a little bit, not as much, but like Game of Thrones, hopefully this new, Magic the Gathering, anime. Now, so here's a tangent, and then we'll wrap it up with this. In the hopes of bringing people into it, do you think the fact that it's going to be an anime is going to hurt that?
Okay.
Because people like Naru, you say anime, and he's going to turn around and take off the other way.
I don't think it's actually anime though. It's just animated.
Okay, it's just animated. Oh, okay. So I read anime.
The actual like animation studio is the animation studio of Rick and Morty.
Okay.
Which is the most watched cartoon. Like it's like similar to like The Simpsons. It's like most watched by people who aren't nerds.
Yeah.
But then also has a huge nerd following. So I think it'll kind of be similar to like Game of Thrones and Dungeons and Dragons recently, where it's like now Dungeons and Dragons is way more accepted than it was.
Oh yeah.
Before Game of Thrones. Like I know a ton of people who are like, yeah, I'd play. That I'm like, there's no way you would have played like 5 years ago.
Right.
Or however long ago. I don't think this will be anywhere near as powerful as like what has happened recently with Dungeons and Dragons. But I think since it's Wizards of the Coast, they're trying to make moves for Magic the Gathering similar to what they did for Dungeons and Dragons, to bring it more to mainstream to where everybody can feel comfortable playing it.
Yep.
Which I think it's great. Like it's literally just my whatever deck against yours, and you can make whatever the fuck you want, and it's a really good like strategy game.
Right. Really makes
I like it way more than that stupid Catan game.
Hey, fun fact. They're having the Dark X-Men Dark Phoenix world premiere is going on live right now. It's
Right now.
I'm not.
which reminds me that it's happening this week and I'm watching it Thursday.
I
Which
forgot it
reminds
was.
me, I haven't seen any of the new movies, and I've fallen asleep during Apocalypse 3 times trying to watch it.
I watched
fucking
them. I just
The very first one that came out was good.
the
First
first
Class.
class.
Yeah, just because Magneto was the shit.
Dude, what's the actor's name?
Jonathan, Harold,
Nope, I have no idea.
Steven.
It'll come
What
to me.
actor?
Magneto from the new X-Men. Michael Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender, James McAvoy are a fantastic duo who were
Yep.
let down by the direction, the show. The movie.
Yes, I agree. So I think, and we've talked about it. I think they need to get Dark Phoenix out of the way, and then cool it on X-Men for a while and give us some Fantastic Four. So,
Yeah, I would agree with that.
so
Spider-Man and Friends.
there you go. I'm down because Into the Spider-Verse was a huge hit. So just keep going that direction with it. I'm
Ooh,
100%
Kevin
down.
Feige's there. Interesting.
So yeah, so that's gonna be it for this week. So Magic's gonna be. We all hope Magic's gonna be a huge hit. So
Hopefully, everybody on this show will start playing Magic. So remember a long time ago, I said everybody should play D&D, and then no one listened to me.
bullshit. I play every 2-3 weeks now.
It took like half a
I
year.
just realized I gave D&D a try, so I'm allowed to shit on it now by Brandon.
Yeah, you are.
That's fine.
Knocks
You're
me
just
the
bad.
hell out, man. Every time I play, I feel asleep. I fall asleep.
Hey, that's fine.
Hey.
So, but anyway, so Naru.
I'm really curious about Magic the Gathering. I gotta say because it feels more like something that might be more my speed. It just
I think you would thrive playing Magic the Gathering, but I also think that you would be the person that would start to play and be like, "This is it," and you would just fucking dump money into it.
there is that possibility.
It's addicting. It's addicting. Like when you build when you build a deck, you can play with just a whatever deck from like Target or whatever. It's $15. You just get it. It's pre-built. Learn how to play. When you're like, oh, I like these aspects of it, and I kind of want to build one that has this scheme to it or whatever. That's when it's fucking addictive, dude.
Okay. Yeah.
That's why Jason builds a new one.
That's it. You just successfully scared me off right there. Like
Nah, dude, you should do it. Jason and I play where we're only allowed to spend $15 on a deck. So it's the cheap way of like staying into it because we don't want
okay. Yeah, that makes sense to me because, dude, the last thing I need is more debt.
Cool, man. Hey, so Naru, tell them where they can find you, bud.
Yeah, y'all can find me at TheNerdsFromWork. I'm kidding. You can find me at the Niger Nerd and the Nerds from Work, actually, on Twitter, Instagram, and anywhere else you can find that handle legally accepted.
So, Brandon, where can they find you, bud?
We've been talking about a lot of anime, so you can find me on Otaku Booty at BYO425.
Spell it.
What?
Spell it.
OTAKUBOOTY.
Otaku booty, dude. Senpai noticed me.
How do you find these things? I swear to God, I have no
Senpai
idea.
noticed me. That's hilarious.
Senpai.
Yeah. I've spent too much time in that. Wow. Nope. I'm gonna stop that. Nope. I'm gonna stop that right where that was at.
On Otaku Booty?
Yeah.
Everybody loves booty. Everybody loves anime.
Where
Put 'em
smart,
together.
funny, sexy nerds meet.
Sexy nerds.
It's got a layout like Wikipedia. It's just like everything you've ever wanted.
Oh my God.
Nuru's over there signing up real quick. Ugh.
Wikipedia, God, I love Wikidot.
That's incredible. So you guys can find me all over the internet at The Caped Critic. You guys can find us at Atlanta Comic Con, and I should have had the details. I'll have the details for you guys next week. It's in July. We're going to be on the Friday night of the convention. So if you guys are in the Atlanta area, make sure you guys come check us out at Atlanta Comic Con on that Friday night. But you can find us on social media, Twitter and Instagram at Nerds From Work, Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Patreon, www.TheNerdsFromWork.com. Make sure you come check us out there. We're also going to be planning to be at DragonCon in September as well, so make sure you check us out there too. So from all of us here at the workplace, peace.
Taco.